people
Oh,
popping in.
listeners.
So thank you all for popping in. So grateful to have each and every one of you here just popping in. I should probably introduce myself first because I am pretty new to this live thing at the moment, this particular format. My name is Sean Christian. I am a purpose and creative mindset coach, artist, actor, entrepreneur, speaker. So I do I do wear a lot of hats. That is for sure. But I can tell you there's one thing, there's one through line in all of it. You'll hear me talk about creativity all the time. And if anybody who follows me, you'll see most of it is about creating your life and being the creator of your life. It is something I've worked on for over, oh my God, 30 years. If you want to include my childhood and my times of make believe, I've been creating most of my life, but I now do it as a profession, of course, and help people use their creative mindset to create a passionate, purposeful life to unleash their unique potential. I have, of course, courses on this, but the through line is throughout my life, my entire life, and I encourage everybody to do this when we're looking for that passion, when we're looking for that purpose, is to connect the dots to your life and go, okay, what are the things that I love to create without the judgments, right? As we get older, we're like, yeah, that's a great dream because I'm from the Midwest, and I was like, oh, I want to be an actor because that's great. When you grow up, let me know what you really, really want to do. And I've been blessed to be doing it. And I've now, with my beautiful fiance, who I'm going to bring on here, by the way, because I want to talk about creating discipline and organization, which I am the absolute worst at. I mean, these are what I call, I talk about hard values and soft values. Some of those hard values that I really need to work on: focus, discipline, and organization. Now, the other ones that I would consider good at, or which I discipline myself at, are those soft values of creating every day, connecting every day, and contributing every day. And I'll circle back on, what your values are and helping you create discipline and organization for this particular episode. But the through line and why I now have become a purpose and creative mindset coach is I've discovered about me is the idea that, look, what do I want to do? And for my whole life, I've wanted to create experiences that empower me to feel alive. And I had to just sort of flesh that out. What does that mean? And that's what brought me into the music or the TV and film industry, is to create experiences that make me feel alive, but then share that with people on the screen. I was like, awesome, that's what I want to do. And I was like, well, how can I keep, COVID came around and I had to just, everything was on halt, like most of us for a moment. We had some, global deep reflection, all of us. And I was like, okay, you know what? I want to create experiences that not just make people feel alive. I want them to empower them. I want to empower them to be the creators of their life so they feel alive in their own lives. So that is exactly why I'm here. You'll hear me repeat that, maybe not the whole story, but just to catch everybody up to speed. That's why I'm here. And before I bring Ari on, I just want to say a big shout out to Vinay and his team for making this happen. The world needs this. And all of you are here sharing this beautiful experience. I'm sure you guys all have your own passion, your own purpose in helping other people in their lives. So big shout out to Vinay to making this happen. I hope this community grows exponentially each and every day. And it's because we all show up here. And so thank you. Deep gratitude, yes, to Vinay and everybody, his team, of course, and all of you who are showing up for yourselves. I appreciate that. I really, really do. So I do want to bring on my fiance, Ari Zucker. She, of course, is an actor, but we've now created this Aloha life coaching business where we are now empowering people to be the creators of their lives. So because she's helped me tremendously in this thing I want to talk about today is being disciplined. How do we create discipline and organization? So welcome. I want to just invite you. So thank you for sharing this with me and getting me here and organized and focused to be able to do this.
Hi, Sean. Thanks for having me on here. No, I'm so happy to be part of this. I'm so happy to be part of this Good Self app as well, because I really believe when you really want to focus on creating your best self, it's so wonderful to have an avenue here and to have relationships and build relationships with people on this app. So I'm really, really excited to be here. But as Sean said, I'm an actor / animal advocate started my own nonprofit with my brother in 2007. Sean was also a big advocate of that nonprofit as well. It's still running, called Arrowheart Adventure Camps. And we help kids find their true nature in nature through critical thinking skills, character building, courage, and so on and so forth. And it's been a wonderful organization. And now we've turned what we have built with these, with our nonprofit, into this beautiful company we call Aloha Life. And so part of building companies, if you're on that end right now, is really being organized. And there is no Bible to being organized. I know there's so many great ways, and there's so many great people that you can follow and talk to about how to be organized. But I think it scares people sometimes when you say, you really should work on your schedule. Right?
Yeah.
It makes people run. It really does, because some people, especially if you are a creative, schedules can be scary. And how do you find that time to really focus, and being able to put your phone down for an hour, or whatever you need to do to really find your focus. But I really believe in when you're starting to shift yourself into, okay, how can I be more organized? I really love to use a timer. I'm a Gemini. I'm all over the map. So my particular schedule is never the same, but it works for me because I know every day I'll do it. It just isn't a different, it'll happen at a different time zone. So what I used to do to get myself to start being organized is I put a timer on my little clock for 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes turned to 10 minutes, and 10 minutes turned into an hour, because I really enjoyed it. And then I really found my time, and I got excited about scheduling my life. And so this has been through our coaching clients. I've had some clients who really backed off and said, I'm not going to do it. Don't tell me to do a schedule. I don't want to do a schedule. So Sean, you had a great word
Yeah.
for it, right? To shift
Yeah.
to structure.
Yeah, because it was one of these things. I was working with somebody, and I think finding the language for you.
Yeah.
Like, I was working with a client, and I said, you know what, we just work on a schedule, because he was trying to transition from finance into a creative space, which is a huge leap. And I go, well, okay, let's work on a schedule. He was like, stop, Sean, it's not working for me. No schedule, it doesn't work. He hated schedules. And I kind of understood that.
I think
Because
it's just a deep-seated thing,
oh, for
like
sure.
when you're young or something, you know,
For sure.
there's just something about scheduling that just, whether you didn't like school or
Yeah.
something to that effect. Yeah.
Yeah, you unpack that for yourself, of course, and kind of going, and we did this for him. I go, okay, that word doesn't work for you. And as we're having this conversation, you know, we were going through it and talking a little bit, and he came up with the words. So I just let him as a coach. And he goes, you know, if I could structure the thing, I'm like, wait, what did you say? Go structure. I go, what about that? He goes, ooh, I like that idea. The idea that I can structure. This leads me to this conversation I want to have with you and all of you out there, by the way, about how do we create this sense of self-discipline so we can be organized. Again, well, I'm all over the map. So I got a 50, I'm a creative. So I'm a visionary kind of person. So I have a lot of ideas. And what's been great about you is being able to go, look, I love your ideas. And this even where Arrowheart evolved, and the nonprofit and the life coaching, but let's rein this in and get really focused.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, well, and this is, think about this for yourselves. If you're literally, like, even if you're building your own business or your coaching business or whatever you're doing out there, really get to going, okay, ask yourself, what is it that I value? Because these become the guideposts for our decision-making, right?
Right.
That is one of the things that, you know, like, if we didn't value structure, and I just didn't value organizing. I thought I can get more done by just giving myself to everybody, go, do, give. And then I'm like, okay, how come I felt like I worked my butt off all day and nothing really got done? Who's done that? I'm sure everyone out there is working their tail off to build their business or be a better family person, or whatever you want to do, whatever that vision is for you. But when you got so much and it was like, I'm overwhelmed, I always say, bring it back. Have the big dream, right? It's great to have a great dream, but come with a small step that is in alignment with what you value. You, not your parent, not your caregiver, not your teacher, not the bully and the whatever, right?
Yeah.
What do you value?
My coach would often say, because I still get coached and been coached, and I've done every kind of therapy, cognitive therapy, hypnotherapy, everything. And, and finally landed on a spiritual coach, the thing about creatives, A types can really get things done, right? This conversation is like, I know how to organize, it's easy breezy. But there's also organizing your personal life, which can be kind of a mess, because there's people that are really wonderful in relationships and terrible at business, or really amazing in business, and you cannot build a relationship to save yourself, So these skills really apply. And I think one of the things is, if you are good at something, why, and ask yourself this, why can't you be that way across the board? Because you might say, I'm really bad in relationships, but I'm so good at my job and I'm really successful, but I can't find a person to be with. And it's funny that we fall off the wagon and we don't bring that world, not bringing your work world, but bringing your organization skills in your mind into the other aspect of your life, which is really, I think, really important. But I'm going to jump, such a Gemini. Here we go. I'm going to go back to what I was talking about as far as, when you build out your dream or whatever it is, or just even if it's being organized with your family life and your day-to-day life, what's most important. And I feel like, yeah, Ari, we've heard this all before, but do we do it? Right. So the most important thing, and it's finish the project, right? So finish your project. You might not be able to finish in a day. It might take you a week to do whatever your project is, but take them one at a time, because, so many people say, yeah, I can multitask. I can do this. I can do that. But multitasking, you're never really good at one thing at a time. Right. So I'm going to take this from my daughter's, principal in elementary school. She says, we oscillate. We can oscillate well, which means like a fan, right? We go from one task to another, but you got to complete each one in order for it to actually hold value. So you want to, and like Sean was saying earlier, how do you hold value in your life? And I think that is finding that clarity for yourself in organizing. That's what gets me excited. And I think is, where do you find the fun in your life? Organizing can be really boring. I do not want to sit down and organize. But when I do sit down and when I'm done organizing, I'm so happy.
Yeah.
I'm so thrilled. And again, it can take me 30 minutes. And here's where some of you might lie. Where, like I told you a little earlier, I don't have one specific time a day that I do my organizing. I'll find a slot in the day, because between my day job, I'm an actor on Days of Our Lives, 25 years last week. And I also run this business, and Sean is, he's sort of the speaker. He does everything. I do all the back work behind the scenes, and he does all the work in front of it. And I have to organize how that's going to work. And it never looks the same.
Right.
But when I wake up in the morning, Sean is, every morning, he's really worked hard on, he is very consistent. He gets up, he has his time in the morning, he meditates, he reads, and it's every morning. I'm like, oh my gosh, I could never do that. I can't do that. But yet I'm more organized than he is, which is very interesting. So you may not be a morning person to organize, to set your values for that day or the next day. But do it. Do you have a 5-minute break at work? Do you have lunchtime where you could take a few minutes to go, ooh, I'm going to set up my week? Or maybe you're an evening person or right before bed, but finding that time is so, so important. And it's also you time.
Yeah. There are two things you mentioned, by the way, and I love this because you're very consistent on the, the fun. And this is the thing that we don't often do, and you just mentioned it, is that we don't reward ourselves for the success that we have. We put something else on our plate and we constantly feel like we're chasing our tail, right? And I used to think this all the time, and just imagine some of the goals that you set. And again, I'm a big dreamer. I'm like, let's go for it. Let's go for the moon, right? What's the moonshot? But how can I take small steps toward big priorities without beating myself up for not achieving the goal, right? So those beautiful, simple tasks that you can do every day to give yourself that win, and then celebrate that win. For example, I'll go, okay, I'll get a book. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll be done by the end of the week. And then I don't get done by the end of the week, and I get frustrated by that goal. So think about the goal that you may have, that you're now setting yourself up to be even more frustrated, right? Where you now go, okay, great. Maybe, all right, I want to complete the book, of course, or I want to complete whatever priority is on your plate. What is the number one thing you want to accomplish? Just one.
Mhm.
There's a million things we all want to do, but break it down to let me just do one. This is how you avoid overwhelm, because we're trying to do everything all at once. I speak from experience, because I'm like, oh my God, like I said, I'm working my butt off. Nothing's really getting completed, to
Mhm.
your point,
Mhm.
right? I'll go, okay, well, why don't I just promise myself when I was writing the script, I'm like, the producer's like, get it done by the end of this month or whatever. I'm like, okay, right? And I just didn't have any structure. I go, wait, if I just write 5 pages a day, that's it. Just commit to that. Once I knew that I did that and I celebrated that victory, one small step, I go, excellent. And then I was able to build on that, because I got the discipline, meaning the day-to-day, one habit, one commitment that I can make to myself every day that goes, yep, I can do that. And it starts very, very small. This is the one thing that I've learned throughout my life. And I'm not part of my morning routine now is a little bit of stretching. And I'm not a big fan of stretching or yoga necessarily, right? I'm just like pound, 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 and go for it. But I've learned to kind of be more flexible, and I'm working on that. So, but
Right.
what I was able to do for myself is go, great, just stretch your arms and your neck and your legs and your back. That was it. No, nothing big. Just that was all I started to do for less than a minute. And I mean this, like literally a minute. And that minute now, because I committed to that, once you're in that space and you're committing, you're feeling that win. You're like, wait, I just showed up at the gym, or I just showed up to do this paper or this pitch presentation, or make one small step toward my business that you're creating, or whatever it is, right? Just one small thing. And you go, great, I got that done. And you'll be able to build on the discipline. And another thing I want to say, not only do you understand what your values are, like your 3 top values will be your guiding voice right there every time. Because you'll know when you're in alignment. You'll go, I spent a lot of time doing this today. Like, okay, wait, was that in alignment with what I value? No, I spent 30 minutes on social media, unless that is in alignment, unless you're doing business, of course. But you're able to audit and go, wait, that is not, excuse me, focused discipline. I'm not creating discipline. So you'll be able to course correct. So you're constantly now the creator of your life, not the victim. Excuse me.
He's getting excited.
I'm getting all excited. Here I go. But feel the difference. Feel the difference when you become the creator of your life or the victim of your schedule or your life. Just take that time.
And that rolls in with, being negative, right? Because it's so easy to be negative. It's so easy for us to just go, okay, that I don't want to do it. Or it's like, there's nothing for me to get excited about. But it's so easy to be negative. It's easy to choose excitement over happiness, right? It is a default. And it's something that is so possible to change. And every day we're negative in something. And flipping that is that thought process. And you have to really choose it. It's a choice. You have to choose to want to be organized. You have to choose to want to get excited about being organized, because once you start seeing the differences, and I think that's the part that everyone wants to see something automatically. We're on social media every day. We're on our phones every day, and it's immediate, right? We get immediate results, right? Or maybe not results, but we get a gratification, right? There's something immediate there. When it comes to building your business or building your, if you're, you want to lose weight or you want to change your diet, it all takes time. There is no immediate, unless you do surgery of some sort, right? Or some extreme,
Right.
but there is no immediate. Everything takes time, right? So, so you have to allow yourself and give yourself those breaks and allow and accept. Those are my 2 favorite words that have worked for me so much, is allow yourself to make mistakes and accept the fact that you are going to reach your goals, and go, here it comes. I have to allow and accept this process so that because what happens when you make mistakes, I find that those are wonderful learning experiences,
Yeah.
because you go, oh, here's what not to do. Oh, here's what exactly worked for my company. And so you can start seeing a turn on your investment, whatever it is that you're looking to do, is we all want to see a return on our investment.
That's such a great way. There's a couple words that stick out, and reminding yourself this, that everything is a process. And it's the difference between being goal mindset and growth mindset.
Yes.
So to your point, so you're not beating yourself up in the process. So if, like I said, creative mindset, growth mindset, if you're constantly in process of growing, you're less inclined to beat yourself up, because you're going, oh, guess what I learned today? I learned to navigate more morning time for my priorities and my goals. And now you're being more efficient, not just effective.
Yes.
Effective is getting a bunch of stuff done. Efficient is getting the stuff done that's important to you.
Yeah.
Think about that. And you'll be able to start to go, wait, I'm going to create my schedule. I am not going to have everyone be on everybody else's time schedule. I'm going to discipline myself, and I'm a big person about give yourself this self-love, I ask people that all the time, like, what do you love in your life? I love my kids. I love my this. I love my mom, my parent, whatever. I'm like, where are you on that list? How much time, how much discipline are you giving to yourself? Do you value that? And you may go, oh my gosh, I do, but I'm not disciplining myself to go, wait, I do come first. And I mean, it sounds selfish, by the way, but you can't give your best self if you're not giving your best self to yourself. If that makes any sense. Right. Yeah. I mean, remind yourself that is one of the bigger things, and knowing why do I want this goal? Because that is another one of your, like, if you know what you value and you're asking yourself why, because if you don't have a why or a reason why you're going to do this thing that you want to create, when you hit an obstacle, you'll go into default mode. And I'll make this little thing quick about this, the cycle of self-sabotage. So you understand why in the world you keep getting in your own way. And by you, I mean me, because I'm right. I am my biggest obstacle. I really, really, really am, because, having a partner like ours to point this stuff on, go, wow, I love your ideas, but just focus, get it focused, disciplined, and organized. And now we're way more effective in this. But just think about how your mind works, right? Because your subconscious wants to be comfortable. It's going to work against you. I'm telling you right now, many of you are probably well-versed in this, in the subconscious mind, but it is going to work against you because it wants to remain comfortable. It will go to the familiar. So if you're trying to create discipline, change, organization, the minute you do it, you're going to take one small step, and you're going to tell yourself, all right, cool, I'm doing something new. All right, now I'm having this new experience. I like this feeling because I'm doing something new. And then now you're going to go to, okay, this is new, so it's unfamiliar. And now here's where your subconscious mind's going to go and go, uh-oh, we're in the unfamiliar. I don't like this.
That's what I like to call the risk management team. Control. Oh my God, something's attack. This isn't right. This is not comfortable for us. And it's hilarious because I know you have to be laughing at yourself. You all have to know that you do this to yourself, right? You have to have a sense of humor about your own personal things that you do. But I love that what you're saying too is, and as you try organizing, because there is no Bible, because there is no way, and everybody works differently, you have to try everything. So if something doesn't work for you, right? Okay, I'm going to put my phone away for 5 minutes, unless I'm using the timer, of course. There's actually someone that I follow that doesn't return texts until the end of the day, because it's a waste of time, because you get caught up in whatever it is. Like, oh, my mom gets all mad because I don't return her text till the end of the day. Right. But because for her, she is more effective in her business if she gets to the things that she has prioritized. This may not work for you, but I'm like, wow, that's a great idea. So you do that too, is if I click on the text, then I'm going to forget to get back to that person, even if I read it, but don't get back to them. Right. It's all these minutes matter.
Okay.
So if that's something that doesn't work for you, then try something else and ask yourself, why isn't it working? I love the why questions.
Yeah. Why
The
ladder?
why questions for yourself are so, so big. So why don't I like to be organized? Why don't I like to strategize? Why, why can't I find things that work for myself? Well, you can, as you trace those down, you go, well, because when I was a kid, maybe my dad was a real disciplinarian. We were on a schedule and
Yeah. Yeah. Happens
I
a lot.
don't want to be this way as an adult. Okay, but how does it serving you?
Yes. That is the big question.
How does it serve you not being organized in your life or not being effective and getting things done in a way that first makes you happy and then
Yeah.
makes the people around you happy?
Yeah. Because if you're not enjoying it, the process, you have like, and I'm not saying everything's going to be, rainbows and unicorns, and it's going to be a wonderful party every second, right? But when you hit that obstacle, when you hit that roadblock, you know why,
Mhm.
and you're going to enjoy I enjoy, strangely enough, I enjoy failing. It sounds
Yeah.
crazy, but that's the best way for me to learn, by taking that one step further out of my comfort zone, right? As we were in the sabotage cycle, right? The self-sabotage cycle, right? You're going to try something new, feels good, it's unfamiliar. Now it's unfamiliar. So your subconscious goes, stop. I want to go back to the familiar. Stop doing this. Let's not work out. It's right there. You get to stop and go, I hear you. But I want to stay disciplined. I want to stay focused. So I'm going to stay in the uncomfortable. Just for look, you're going to be able to measure how much that uncomfortable space is for you, and then go back. Okay, cool. And celebrate. I pushed myself just a little bit further. One small thing in the direction of my dream. Right? Just think about that. And you're going to be able to build, because what you're doing in this process, you're training your brain. You control your thoughts. You control your feelings. Your feelings and thoughts don't control you. Think about that. Now, I'm not suggesting that we don't have feelings and emotions that just get our hearts to run wild, right? And they do. And I want everyone to own, whether it's trauma in the past, whatever it is. I'm not suggesting that we just all can be able to shift gears right away. But the awareness, the self-awareness of what is in your way, and just, treating yourself with compassion and understand that's all you're really doing. This is the process of creating your own life. You're simply just creating more in this particular conversation. We'll have more about how you can create the things that you desire in your life.
I always tell my clients especially when you have clients that come on that don't um, really understand what a coach does and trying to understand the process. But it's the smallest thing is the most important, because if you can handle the smallest things, the big things become easier, because
Yeah.
small things happen for you on a daily basis.
Mm.
And when you really watch yourself, shifting, and the organization is part of that, as you start to shift that on a personal level,
Right.
all the other things come with it. And you go, wow, this is really starting to work. Again, it takes some time to really understand that. But if you're already a person that's been working on yourself, and you see when you do put forth that action for yourself, you've seen it work.
Right.
So how do you stay consistent with it? That's the key.
Yeah.
And that's the work you have to do for yourself. But I really suggest to, as you share with a friend, or you share with a confidant who really has your back, and you can just bounce ideas off somebody. I think that's the best, communicating with people to kind of get your own ideas. I share all the time with my girlfriends. Hey, they're my little focus group. Can you girls help me on this and let me know if this makes sense? We're building an educational courses for middle schoolers. And so to me, it's really important to get other mothers' points of view. Like, if this was coming home with your kid at school, how would you feel?
Right.
Does it make sense? Is it clarity? Is this something you want your child to go through? And I've got friends that are in fashion world, to, PR, to scientists, to vets, to lawyers, to go, okay, here's what I need more clarity on. And it really, really helps me go, okay, so now I'm going to go organize this, what they said, and I'm going to, adjust. right? So this is taking a while to build out, and we're really excited to launch it anyway.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but I really suggest is you're trying, talk to people who know you, and that you can say, and if you don't even want their advice back, just say, I just want you to hear me so I can hear myself.
Yeah, that's the best
That's
practice. That's a
really
really good practice.
right. My
Yeah.
daughter's really good at my 13-year-old daughter is really good at saying, Mom, I just want to tell you this, but I don't want you to share. I'm like,
Right.
okay. I mean, it's
Yes.
really hard, but
Yeah.
but I'll listen to
100%.
her.
Yeah.
And then when she says, okay, I want your advice, then I'll share, advice. So this all, I mean, I know it sounds weird, but it all goes into organizing your own life. I organize my emotions.
Yeah.
So you see, this is not only organizing yourself for business or organizing your family life, it's also organizing and prioritizing your feelings and your thoughts, because
Yeah.
most of the time people feel like your feelings come first. It's not. Your thought literally comes before your feeling, and they work that fast and get you that emotional. It's like when someone cuts you off on the freeway, you're probably like, what the beep?
Yeah. Right.
And then you start to feel the heat or the anger. You're like, what a jerk, but you just got yourself in that place, not the person that cut you off. I mean, he ignited it. Don't get
Right.
me wrong.
Right.
But I could choose to go, ooh, gosh, I hope everything's okay with that person.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You
I'd
know,
love to talk about that even like the next time about, even in the program is about probably I call it theater of the mind, but how we get to create a state of being, whatever we want. It's
Yeah.
a great little jumping off point.
Wow, maybe next week.
Yeah, maybe I think that'd be a great one for next week,
Theater of
actually.
the mind next week,
Yeah, for
everybody.
sure. I'm going to leave. That's a great way to sort of wrap things up because
Mhm.
that is a beautiful way to go. One of the couple of just recaps is knowing what you value. Knowing what those values are, those help in your dedication disciplines. They'll keep you focused. Knowing your why, ladder that down. Why, like we do as kids. Why? Well, why? Well, why? Well, why? You get to the root of why you really want this particular organization or discipline. And that beautiful last thing you're mentioning, how do we create a belief? How do we do that? It is the repetition. It is the habit of a thought that keeps repeating itself. And we have proof, and you're proving to yourself that you are capable of one small thing even. That's how we build confidence. Where's confidence and self-belief come from? Well, the repetition of something that we keep doing and proving to ourselves that, yes, it is possible. And when we hit a roadblock, we look back and go, okay, great. What went well? What didn't go so well? And what would I do differently? That's sort of those are our nightly chats. We're going to add like, okay, what went well today? What didn't go so well today? And what would we do differently?